Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that may link with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. And of course, as I said to you guys yesterday, we're starting to close in now on the new season, you could say, because, come the middle of August, the new season begins. And of course, our pre-season begins at Arsenal starting next week, Tuesday, with an away trip up there to Scotland to take on Hibernian. I'm gutted that we can't go. They've already said they don't want fans travelling from England. There's also another game against Rangers in Glasgow next weekend. Would have loved to have been at those two games, especially the Rangers one. But unfortunately, we can't travel, but the players will be there. Lots of players you've seen this week being reporting back for training, even some of the players that may be surplus to requirements going on, like Runarsson was there, Sai Kolasinac, but they're all getting back into training and getting ready for pre-season. So that means we need to get some signings through the door pretty quickly so that they can have a full pre-season, which is something that Mikel Arteta has complained about over the years, saying that, certain players didn't have a full pre-season, took us a while to get going. So he's hoping to get some of them through the door, the new faces, so they can have a pre-season. Now, Albert Sambi Lakonga, who we've been talking about forever, day in, day out here, we're being told that he did a medical yesterday and will join Arsenal for pre-season come next week, Tuesday. So expect an announcement on this signing very, very soon. Those reports were coming out of Belgium, but that's what they said. He did a medical yesterday and set to join Arsenal for the pre-season, which means there needs to be an announcement. So hopefully we'll see some sort of an announcement on Albert Sambi Lakonga very shortly. So it's the worst kept secret that he's signing, just as it is with Nuno Tavares. Expecting that to be announced as well, with the hope as well that, he will be ready to join Arsenal for those pre-season games, which are very, very important to get these players up to speed and get them used to their new teammates, etc. So expecting an announcement on those two signings imminently, and very, very, all signings right now for Arsenal are very, very important. I think particularly that one, we're recovering off the left-back position. I feel that that's a very, very important signing. But what's going to happen with some of the big signings we really want to see come in? Manuel Locatelli, who plays in the final of the Euros on Sunday against England. Are Arsenal going to be able to bag their man? There's conflicting reports about Manuel Locatelli today. First of all, there's reports that Arsenal are in advanced talks to get this signing done. And that's not just coming from any sort of idle chatter. That's coming again from the CEO, Giovanni Carnavelli, who's the CEO of Sassuolo. His quotes are this. He said, we're in talks, should I say, with one club abroad, and it's really advanced. We're going to meet with Juventus in the next days, but there are no obligations yet with Juventus, as Italian clubs are in a difficult financial situation, right? So that's coming from the CEO. That club that he's talking about, that one club abroad, is said to be Arsenal. That is the club that Manuel Locatelli and Sassuolo are in advanced talks with. But there's also conflicting messages as well, because I've also seen reports where it says that Arsenal, and again, this is coming out of Italy, Arsenal have given up on trying to sign Locatelli because they know that he's going to join Juventus. Now, interestingly enough, I did an interview over on the Don Robbie channel yesterday. That interview's out right now with Fabrizio Romano. Check that out, where I asked him about Locatelli. And I said to him, what's happening with Locatelli? Does Arsenal still have a chance of signing him? And he said, basically, yes, they do. He goes, they're kind of playing a waiting game, is what he said with Arsenal. They know that his preferred destination is Juventus. He wants to, he's Italian. He wants to join Juventus. They're the biggest club in Italy. They're playing in the Champions League. He's never played in that before with Sassuolo. That's where he wants to go. That is his preferred destination. However, as you know, even the CEO of Sassuolo said, clubs like Juventus in a lot of financial trouble. Every club in Italy, they may not be able to get the deal done. Arsenal just waiting in the wings. If that doesn't happen, they will move for Locatelli. So we're gonna have to wait and see how it works out. As I said, it will become a lot clearer once the Euros are over. And a lot of talks can really start getting deeper with some of those players that are still there. And what about Ruben Neves? Now, we know he's been linked. So both of these players, Locatelli, Ruben Neves, they're sort of replacements for Granit Xhaka, who more or less we know that Granit Xhaka is going to be leaving Arsenal. Again, Roma playing a bit of a waiting game at the moment just to see who Arsenal sign, just so they, you know, they don't want to go too expensive on Granit Xhaka. But Arsenal said to have offered a new contract, a 5-year contract, should I say, not new, but a 5-year contract to Ruben Neves if he wants to join the club. They're willing to sign him up for 5 years, long-term contract, good wages, and that's what they've offered to Ruben Neves. So the interest is still there in Ruben Neves. Who's going to be that player is going to come in for Granit Xhaka? Will it be Ruben Neves or will it be Locatelli? And who would you prefer? Who do you think would make a better replacement for Granit Xhaka out of those two? But certainly you can see that Arsenal are there looking at alternatives to Xhaka because he is going to be on his way out to Roma. Now, this was an interesting one yesterday. Sergio Ramos, who yesterday joined PSG on a 2-year deal. It's reported and heavily reported that Arsenal offered him a major contract. You know, they worth up to £30 million in wages for 2 seasons to join Arsenal. And he was considering it as well. He didn't join Arsenal because he wants to play in the Champions League. And we know that's going to be something that's going to keep hindering Arsenal. But that's really interesting that Arsenal would be interested in going after Ramos, who's 35 now. Personally, I would have liked to have seen a player like Sergio Ramos at Arsenal because he's a leader. And I think he would really bring some bite to Arsenal. But ultimately, Arsenal failed to get that deal done. But that's a lot of money. I mean, listen, personally, I'd love to see him. I would have loved to have seen him come because it's a free transfer and he's a quality player. Even at 35, he's still quality. But if Arsenal have got that sort of money that they're willing to outlay on somebody like a Ramos, again, priorities, you know, let's go and get Maddison, for instance. You know, that's what I'm thinking to myself. If money like that is available for these type of players, or was it just paper talk? We don't know. But we do know that the real target for centre-back is Ben White. And again, Arsenal have said to have tabled a third bid worth about £48 million plus add-ons that could take it right up to around about £55 million. Wow. Right. And Arsenal said to be closing in on this deal. They're very confident, as I said yesterday, that this will be completed once the Euros are over and that Ben White will become an Arsenal player. And again, that they can get him in as soon as possible for the pre-seasons. Of course, players like Ben White, who, you know, they've just come back from the Euros, are going to need a couple of weeks off, even though he hasn't played. You know, he's been training every day. He's been in an intense camp. But it does look like Arsenal will get their man once the Euros are completed. There's been talk of Man City trying to hijack it, Chelsea trying to hijack it. But Arsenal very, very confident that Ben White will be their big signing, or one of hopefully just one of their big signings of this summer. So let's see how that works out. But Ramos, that's interesting. What do you guys feel about that? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments about Ramos. How do you feel about we would possibly have signed Ramos? That is really, really interesting. Wow. Well, listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget, I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to be live here tomorrow. So probably could be coming about midday UK time, live to you guys, getting your views, finding out how you guys are feeling about the transfer business. You never know. Might get a couple of announcements, maybe even by today, tomorrow. Who knows? But certainly, You know, everywhere I'm going at the moment, I'm seeing Arsenal fans. They've got one thing on their mind, and that is transfers. What is happening? Who's coming in? We know this is an important, very important transfer window for Arsenal that we've got to get right. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.